Hello, fellow survivors. How are you? My name is Jason. I'm part of this group here. I've been on here for a little while now. Done a lot of time in recovery and educating myself through learning from people like Richard Grannon, Sam Vaknin, Little Shaman, and a few others. The reason that I'm posting this video here today, there's a lot of the times that we have gone through what we've gone through, the abuse, the controlling, the gaslighting, the love bombing, all of it. I mean, the manipulation tactics. And I think there's one question that doesn't always get asked here, but I know a lot of us have probably asked ourselves this: how did I attract the narcissist? How am I attracting a narcissist, or a borderline personality disorder, or a histrionic person? How is that happening? Why am I doing that? What am I doing that is attracting that type of person, that type of predator or predatory type of behavior? And that plagued me for a long time. I went for nearly 10 years not being able to find the information just on that alone. And thank goodness for me being able to find Richard Grannon, who to me probably explained it the best of all the other people that I have listened to and have been learning from. It has a lot to do with how you present yourself to the narc. And if this video triggers any bad memories, bad feelings, or anything, or upsets anyone, I'll apologize ahead of time, because this is not, I'm not trying to trigger people into bad memories, or feeling bad, or feeling hurt, or being upset. And so, you know, and if you are easily triggered, then you can probably stop the video right here, because some of the things I may say may end up bothering you, and if it does, I apologize. But how are we triggering the narcissist? Well, it has a lot to do with the fact that we are part of a dyad, as Richard Grannon would say. When we're in a relationship with an narc, we're playing our part. Some of us are, for lack of a better way to put it, we're codependent. Maybe we are and we don't realize it. I used to kick myself for thinking, well, I'm just too nice to people. I'm just too nice. I'm too, and I guess I come across as a people pleaser with me being nice. And I've always told people, my being nice to you is not a sign of my weakness. If anything, you're being kind to people, regardless of what situation they're in when you meet them, is a strength, and it's actually an asset. And I'll say that and be proud to say that. And I think a lot of us are like that here in this group. The only problem with that is that whether it's our first encounter, our second, third, whatever, with that type of individual, a narcissist, we are like blood in the water for sharks. And the reason I say that is because of their predatory nature. They are looking for someone who can be coerced, manipulated, taken advantage of, to be pushed. And they will do this. It's kind of almost like a cat and mouse. You've seen a cat catch a mouse. And if you notice that whenever a cat, a house cat, or even a large cat, captures prey, it plays with it first. It sees what the prey will do. It taunts it, it manipulates it, it frustrates it. It pushes the prey to its extremes. And then eventually the prey dies due to frustration or fear or whatever brink that it's been pushed to. Okay? And that's kind of the same way the narcissist does. And to play devil's advocate here, the narcissist is looking for any weaknesses they can find within you. Whether it's your appearance, whether it's how you carry yourself in public, if you've met them publicly, They do stalk online as well. I think all of us know that. They will go through your Facebook or whatever social media you use. They'll look at your pictures. Some of them will look for tattoos, the way you dress, if you expose too much of yourself. And ladies, I apologize if that bothers you. I know some of you are feel very free about being able to show your bodies and being very proud of it, and you should be. And they should have enough self-discipline to be able to recognize that you can dress the way you want to, take a picture of yourself and be able to post it online and not have a problem with it, correct? Correct. But there's a lot of predators out there. Men, the same holds true for us. There are certain pictures and or videos or anything else that we can put of ourselves online that will attract a female narc, whether they're covert or overt. So that's something to consider. How am I projecting myself not only to the public, but also to a potential narcissist? And how do you combat that? You have to really think about what you're posting online, how you're presenting yourself in public, how you dress, how you act, how you carry yourself. Is that your fault? No, it's not your fault. But at the same time, they are looking for that weakness. It's like they're scoping out, they're surveying the land. And you got to remember too that with a narcissist, they're kind of like that drug addict, that cocaine addict. They're looking for that next hit. You know, it doesn't have to be quality either. It's just like they're addicted to that dopamine high of being able to chase, capture, manipulate, and then suck in whatever supply they can. Sometimes it's going to be people that are low grade on the scale of supply, and other times they're going to find people that are going to be a real challenge for them. But you have to realize you're dealing with a predatory creature in the narcissist. This is a person whose programming, if you will, has basically been altered, changed, corrupted somewhere in their childhood, either through neglect, either through they may have been traumatized, not only, and it could have only taken once. That's the thing a lot of us need to understand about the narc, and even children who grow up not to be narcissists but were traumatized as children. It only takes one moment of trauma to change a child's life and alter their life through their adulthood. And the same holds true for the narc. However, the narc, I think it depends more so on how they were traumatized and how they received that trauma. Okay? And that's initially what they end up going with. Somewhere there's a little voice inside of them that says, never again, this will never happen to me. I will always be the one in control. Even if I have to write my own fantasy construct to be able to manipulate people in the way that I want them to act and to treat me. Which, when you think about this, all of us at some point in our life have been a little guilty of trying to push things to be in our control to be able to get our desired results. And the one thing that a lot of us learn is that when you push something to become the way you want it to be, those results are usually artificial that you end up getting out of it. Well, the narcissist never really learns this, and part of the reason they don't is because they don't self-reflect. It's too painful. It's better to control. For them, it's better to control, manipulate, and export their pain that they can't face with inside themselves onto the people who are closest to them. And that can be a relationship partner, it can be a family member, if they have children. And that's the other thing too. That was one of the things I wanted to touch on here. I've seen some people post that they went to a counselor together with their narc partner. Or they're going through a divorce or possibly heading for a divorce, and they want to do couple therapy or marriage counseling. I'm going to tell you right now, unequivocally, no holds barred, no ifs, ands, or buts about this. Never, if you suspect or you have decided because of what you've done in your research that you are with a narcissistic partner, don't ever go to marriage counseling or to therapy with them at the same time. The reason I say this is because most therapists out there, even though they went to school for counseling, went to university, went to the different colleges or whatever they went to, they may have graduated with their master's and their summa cum laude and all that, all those high honors, but a lot of them were never introduced into the fields of cluster B. And when I mean cluster B, I mean the really bad stuff, like the narcissist. And so they don't know to look for that type of manipulation from the narcissist. And what ends up happening, 9 times out of 10, probably 95% of the time really, the narcissist in those situations will turn the situation on you, make you look like the bad guy or you're the crazy one, and they are the victim because, as we all know, the narcissist is always the victim, right? They did everything perfectly, and somehow you just crapped on their world, correct? And unfortunately, a lot of the times, the therapist will actually think that, yes, you are the problem instead of them. So my suggestion is don't ever go to counseling, therapy sessions, anything with your narc or ex-narc partner. It is the worst mistake you can make. But getting back to what I was saying, how do we stop attracting that type of individual? It's not easy. And if this has been your first time to wake up to the reality, which is a very cold, alien, hard, and sometimes very painful and debilitating reality, of the realization that you have been or have become the victim in a narcissistic personality disorder relationship of abuse, you're going to be very emotionally dysregulated. You're going to be in a lot of pain. And I will fully suggest that you go to Richard Grannon's, and I'm actually kind of regurgitating a lot of the stuff that he said through this video because he's really been an ultimate source for me in my education and healing. But I would go to his website, SpartanLifeCoach.com. I'm not paid by him, but I will advocate for him because he is such a good guy, and he knows what he's talking about. But because you have been put through what you've been through, which is a literal nightmare that other people around you will not understand what you've been through, and trying to tell them what you've been through, people will have this reaction like, you sound like you're talking about a nightmare movie or something. That can't possibly happen in reality. And yet you and I and other victims of narcissistic personality disorder, and I call myself a former victim because I refuse to call myself a victim anymore, we will understand that. We'll recognize the moment someone brings it up, we'll know exactly what they're talking about. The rest of the world who's never been put through it, they're not going to understand anything you're talking about. And the only suitable analogy that I can give you on that is that it's kind of like if you've ever met a war veteran who has served time on the battlefield. They don't talk about their experiences with someone who's never been on the battlefield because they know that person can't relate to what they're saying. They will talk to other veterans who have seen battlefield, time and experienced that same type of trauma. And unfortunately, when that happens, if it's happened to you, it's my suggestion that you try to find someone who has been through it, like people on this page that you can relate to, and also do your best to be educated. And it's good to have a support group here, but none of us here on this God bless all of you.